Hello and welcome to Gunners Daily YouTube channel, where I'm covering all the latest Arsenal news and everything that is happening around the club. Declan Rice has once again been named Arsenal Player of the Match for his performance against Brighton and Hove Albion yesterday. And it's becoming absurd at this point for every other Arsenal player. Well, if you don't score a hat-trick and one of your goals isn't a scorpion kick from 20 yards out, then let's face it, you're not winning the man of the match today. Not when Declan Rice is on the pitch. Not because you're bad or you didn't deserve it to some extent, but because Declan Rice is so unbelievably good and consistent in every game he plays that it would be impossible to think about giving the award to any other player when Rice is on the pitch. So today we are going to talk about Declan Rice, his performances, his impact on the team, what can we expect from him in the future, and most importantly, how he completely changed Arsenal Football Club, and why he is arguably our most important signing ever. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Thank you, and let's go. When I first saw the Links and reports 2 or 3 years ago that Arsenal were interested to sign Declan Rice, I said to myself, no chance. Absolutely no chance that Arsenal could pull this off. Not because we didn't have the money or anything, because we do have money and we are finally spending it this last few years. But because that type of player, Declan Rice type of player, young, regarded as one of the 5 best players in the world at his position, national team regular, British, it's just Arsenal never managed to sign those players. For the last 10 to 15 years, during the Arsene Wenger days, we had great midfielders at our club. Jack Wilshere, Santi Cazorla, Mikel Arteta, you could say, Cesc Fabregas, Aaron Ramsey, Granit Xhaka, Gilberto Silva, Matthew Flamini. All of them were good for us during their time with the club. And some of them were truly great players. But since the budget cuts began after we moved to the Emirates, we never signed a truly world-class, top-of-the-line player that could change the whole dynamic of our squad. We had some great players. For example, I loved Alex Song when he played for us. I thought he was a great player. But let's not lie to ourselves. None of these players were truly in the top 5 in their position in the world during their time with us. Over the last 10 years, Arsenal have been more about patching up holes than really stepping up and buying the best on the market. And I was fine with that. This is my club. This is the club I support. And I get it, we are not the big spending club. I was happy seeing Francis Coquelin finally starting to prove his worth out of nowhere, and for a short spell of time becoming a key part of our midfield. It was just who we was back then. We knew our place and it wasn't on the top. So when the summer transfer window opened and we knew that we need to sign someone new in the midfield, I saw the news that Yaya Toure is looking for a new club. I was okay with knowing that Arsenal Football Club could never sign a player of that profile and reputation. I'm just taking Yaya Toure as an example. One of the best players in the world at the time in his position. In short, superstar signing. Let's use that term, although it's mostly used in the NBA, but you get my point. And while Manchester City brought Yaya Toure, it was a normal and logical move. Big spending club with big ambitions. Of course he's not going to join Arsenal, right? And who have we signed that summer, you may ask? Well, we signed Matthew Flamini for his second spell at the club. A 30-year-old Matthew Flamini. And don't get me wrong, I have always liked Flamini. I always considered him to be one of those players that give everything out on the pitch, and he would fight for the badge. But you see where this is going, right? On one side you had Yaya Toure, and on the other side you had Matthew Flamini. But even during those bad years, we had some star players at our club. Every year you could have picked out a few of them and say, okay, you are the main blocks of this squad, you are our star players, and we expect some big things for you. But you see, we never had a superstar player. And there's a big difference between a star and a superstar level talent. You could argue that Mesut Özil was truly a first big superstar that came to our club in God knows how long. And I loved Özil as a player, but to this day, there are still some of our fans who are saying he was overrated, he was not as good as we thought he would be, he was lazy, uninterested, we never saw his full potential, blah blah blah. So you could argue that until last summer, we still didn't see that real superstar player joining our club. Until Declan Rice. And that's why I said that there is no chance that a player like Declan Rice would ever join Arsenal. Declan Rices of the world, historically speaking, throughout the last 10 to 15 years, would always end up at Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United, or some other top European club that continue to build on their current success and they want to compete for every single trophy every single season. And we can lie to ourselves. We can lie and say to ourselves whatever we want, whatever we think will make us feel better. But for the bigger part of the last 15 years, Arsenal was complete opposite of that. Selling your key players, no ambition, no clear plan and vision, bad foundations, etc. So to see Arsenal today in 2023 signing a true world-class superstar level player like Declan Rice and trying to compete for all the trophies, it's unbelievable. So when we finally managed to sign him in the summer, my first thought was, wow, we are finally becoming a big club with ambition and desire to win things. But what's even more important is that the player of Declan Rice's caliber recognized that grind and project and decided to join Mikel Arteta's Arsenal because realistically, other than Manchester City, it is probably the best club you could currently join if you want to be successful and achieve big things in the future. That's how far we've come. After years of suffering, mediocrity and walking in the dark, we have now truly become one of those top European clubs where young players who want to compete at the highest level will look at with interest of joining. It's been a long road and nothing's forever in football. We've had our dark years, we've had our worst moments, but this Arsenal, this newly revamped and built from the ground Arsenal that Mikel Arteta constructed, is a different animal. And let me tell you, when you have players like Declan Rice, who, in my opinion, has been the best player in the Premier League so far this season, without a doubt. We could even argue that he's been a top 3 best player in the world so far this season, in general. That's how good he is, in my opinion. Declan Rice is the definition of a superstar and a world-class talent. Since he first put foot on the pitch, he's been a 10 out of 10 for us. I swear, throughout my years of supporting Arsenal, I've never seen a player that has been this good for us from his first appearance for the club. His consistency is out of this world. His work rate, passing, long shots, ball interceptions, leadership, and everything that comes in between is on a different level compared to some other players, compared to some stars from other Premier League clubs. You see how things have changed? This is a new Arsenal. This is the Arsenal that could, and you can say I'm deluded or whatnot, but this is the Arsenal that could send the transfer offer to Kylian Mbappe next summer. And you know what? I'm not saying that he would join Arsenal, but let me tell you one thing. He would seriously consider that option. And he would sit down with his family and agents and say, you know what? Arsenal is a great place to be right now. And hey, you never know. And that's why Declan Rice's signing has been absolutely instrumental in pushing us to that next level, to those heights that not so long ago seemed unachievable to us. And that's why Declan Rice is the most important signing we ever made. It's not just because he's a great player, but because what he represents, because of all those things I've mentioned throughout this video, because of what it means and how important he will be for our future, and because now we can finally say, ladies and gentlemen, Arsenal Football Club is back. We are back. And we are here to stay. We are not going anywhere. And after years and years of suffering and disappointment, we can finally say with full confidence that the future is bright. And that's all for this video. So Gunners, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily content because I'm making videos like this every single day. Once again, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.